I'm in Aurangabad, India, and I'm here with my wonderful friends who are training pastors in villages throughout this region and throughout other regions. And I heard their story yesterday, and I want them to share how that ministry is progressing and stories about the pastors who are being trained. And these are guys that don't have seminary. Some of them don't have much education, but they're serving the Lord, and you are bringing training to them. So let me start with you and tell me how you guys met. I know it goes way, way back.
Myself and Brother Shane, we met in Emmanuel Orphanage that was in northern part of India. And we grew up in an orphanage and we know each other for many, many years. And so our upbringing was very spiritual, and we learned in a very young age how to share the gospel, how to distribute gospel tracts, how to share the gospel with others. For many years, when we were in orphanage, our ministry started from there. And when we entered into Bible college, again we had ministry. So for many years, the Lord is using us in the ministry. And last 2 years, Brother Shane, he found me, I found him, and again we met together, and we had the same vision for the pastors, for church planting, discipling people. So we are from the same state and from the same region. He was born in Nanded, and I was born in Nanded too. There was a connection, even physical connection, like our birth. I was born in Nanded district, he was born in Nanded district. So that's a connection. And the other thing is spiritual connection. And more than that, we are friends in the Lord, and his family and my family, we are friends for many years. And the Lord brought him here with a vision to train the pastors. The reason is like 80% of the pastors serving the Lord in villages, they don't have any formal training. They don't know even the basics of the theology. And most of them, they do not know how to read the Bible. They can only memorize, or they can only hear and do the ministry. But their churches are growing in numbers. But our concern was to help them thrive in spiritual matters. Numbers are not important when people are growing in numbers, but what is their spiritual level? We had a big concern for them, helping them, developing them as leaders, and also helping their churches to thrive spiritually and become good disciples of Jesus. So that was our concern and the passion for the Lord. And so we are helping pastors. We have more than 35 pastors in Gujarat, and we have 40 pastors here. There are many connected with us. We help the local pastors, and also we ourselves are involved in training and church planting, discipleship ministry, youth ministry, children's ministry. The whole thing is connected to discipleship.
So one of the strategies to train new pastors would be to start a Bible school or seminary, and the pastors can come. You're training pastors that do not have the education or the resources to attend Bible training. We had a group of 30 pastors here on Monday, and you said many of them had never been out of the state before.
Yeah.
And so they came, and you were able to provide that for them. So Pastor Frank and I, we did 11 hours of theological training, but you're going back on a regular basis. You're going to these villages. So Shane, tell me about your time in Bible colleges, and pronounce the state again that you were going to. Gujarat.
Yes.
So tell me about the time in Bible college when you first started ministering in Gujarat, and you met Solomon's father.
Yes.
Yes, can you tell me about that?
Yeah, sure. That's quite interesting story. Soon after my Bible college, I was deputed in the state of Gujarat, and it was in the same village where Solomon's father was living. And he was the one first to accommodate us, because we had an accommodation there. So we used to stay in that village, and that was our base. From there, we used to move around to different villages.
Yes.
And also Pastor Suresh, he was there with us. So both of us together, we used to work, train the pastors, go to different villages.
So you guys are young. You're in your 20s.
Yeah,
you're in your 20s.
It was in 1999.
1998, 1999.
Yeah.
So we both were quite young. We were in our 20s. Exactly. We were moving around villages. And I and Pastor Suresh together, we were controlling a border area which was a 50% part of Gujarat state and 50% part of Maharashtra. And both of us together, we were able to coordinate with 40 new churches with the help of Solomon's father. His name was Pastor Fatesi.
So these 40 churches, now they're being led by men that are untrained. And because you can't be there every Sunday.
Yeah. I and Pastor Suresh, we duplicated ourselves. We brought that leadership in them. We trained them. Now they are leading big churches in that area. If you go in future when you have time, you can visit the churches over there and you will see tremendous transformation there. And especially the time when we started the ministry, it was in 1998 when we started the ministry there. You won't believe there were very less
So
churches.
in the cities where there's much more pressure, the church grows at a slower
The pace, yes.
But in the mountains where nobody's paying attention, these churches are growing.
It's like a fire in the forest.
And you and Suresh and your team are bringing training to these pastors that cannot come to schools and seminaries so that they can build strong churches.
We take the training to them. It's a moving mobile Bible college.
Yeah.
With a vision to help those pastors. We take the training to them, right where they are, and helping them. When they are training in their context, that's very effective.
Yes.
That's very effective.
Wow. Very good.
So let me tell you the story of Pastor Fateh Singh, who's the father of Solomon.
Yes.
So when I and Pastor Suresh met him, he was also quite young. He was, I think so, 35 or something. But he was filled with spirit, not educated. He just went to second grade. After that, he never went to the school. Just second grade. But to believe the power of Holy Spirit within him, he could learn how to read and write without going. He failed in second grade. After that, his parents decided not to send him there. But he was committed, he was dedicated for the ministry, and God did miracle in his life. As I shared you before his testimony, he was not having kids. So because of that, somebody told him, okay, you need to go to the church and get some prayers from the pastor. He started going, God heard his prayer. He got 2 kids and he dedicated them for God's work. And from there onwards, we met together. We started going deep into the forest, in the villages, and some elements in the village, they didn't like this. When we started ministry there, a group of Antichrist people, they attacked us. Okay, night we were sleeping, they threw big stones. They broke our windows. We had a small board. They pulled it out from the ground and they stole it away. They threatened us that if you guys are going to start a ministry, we are going to wipe you. But by the grace of God, I and Pastor Suresh, we prayed, we held on there, and we knew that God is going to change the area. And Pastor Fateh Singh, who is the father of Suleiman, he was very brave person. He supported us at that time. He supported us, and once what happened in the village, some like nearly 10 to 15 village people, they gathered against him. And they started hitting him with big sticks, rods. They threw stones. And prior to his persecution, he used to use a glass for reading. And he could not see properly, but he used to use glass. But that day, God performed a miracle. That stone which hit his head, and he had nearly 6 to 7 stitches. That stone was a blessing for him because after getting the hit, his eyesight turned back. And he started reading without any specs. And he was very happy. He was sharing that testimony everywhere. And they broke his legs as well. His bones just jut out from his legs into 2 pieces. He was bedridden in the hospital for almost 1 month. He was in plaster, but he did not give up hope. A very strong man of God. In the night, they tried to attack him, but from everywhere, God saved him. And today, because of his courage, because of his dedication, in that area, by the grace of God, we could establish many illiterate people. They don't know much, their IQ level is very low. They don't know theology as Pastor Suresh mentioned. But the works what God is doing to them, if you hear, it's amazing. It's very amazing. Once Pastor Fateh Singh, father of Solomon, he was called to one house because their cows were not giving milk for 1 week because they depend on that milk. They sell it to the market, they get money. Now they are in debts, they have no more money, no money to pay their bills. Pastor Fateh Singh, he went over there, he went to the cow shed, he prayed over the cows. And you won't believe, within 2 days, those cows started milking maybe one bucket. It's like 10 liter each cows,
Wow.
2 times. And they could clear up all their debts and they came back into track. This whole family they came to Christ. Pastor Father Singh is uneducated. God used him.
God used him and reached him in a way.
Just prayer and a few words, sharing the gospel.
Yeah. To a cow.
Yeah, these people.
Amen.
Even in India, it's very common. Even if their animals are sick, they will ask for us to pray.
Tell me, when Solomon's father died recently and Solomon was afraid to
Yes.
be the pastor
Yes.
because he saw what happened to his father. Tell me how you spoke to him.
When Solomon saw that his father served the Lord for 40 years, they didn't have a house. But because of his father's prayer, people, they built 2 stories building. They have van, they have good businesses, they have good jobs. But this guy, he has a thatched house. Take this cow dung to clean. They will sprinkle that cow dung in the house just to make it clean. When Solomon saw he lived life like this, and I don't want to live in that poverty, till his death he was like that. So he was afraid to take the role of that leadership. We knew that exactly because he is a chosen guy, and we know he has a gift, and he needed some encouragement. He needed some training. Myself and Brother Shane, we went. We spent our time and we spent months and months telling him about God's calling on his life, and now he's ready. And even the people, they are so happy to accept him as a pastor. He said, now his father is back. They said the spirit of God, his father is back. So now he is entering into ministry.
Now, the pastors, you brought them down from Gujarat because I was only here 3 days and Gujarat is 1 full day travel each way. You brought 20 of them down, but each of them are training other pastors. Suresh, how many pastors are each of those guys
Each
training?
one of them, at least one pastor like Suleiman, even without pastor, they can run all service because they have leaders. Some of them can preach, some of them can lead the worship. So they have more than 7 leaders in the church. Every pastor, they have at least 2 to 3 in the church.
How many people are in these churches?
Over 150, sometimes 300, 200 in the church.
With untrained pastors. Yesterday, we did Bible study method. We did how to share your faith. And now they will take those lessons and they will teach them to the other leaders and the church members.
Their churches are growing through the power of their transformation. They don't know exactly how to share, what to do, but they have a story to share, their own story of transformation. And so that's how their churches are growing. And if you see the mainline churches, like big churches, Baptist or CNI, you won't see people on Sundays. You won't see people, but these churches are growing independent. And so when they are growing, we found that they need spiritual growth. So that's where we come behind.
And the Lord said, I have not chosen the mighty or the powerful, I have chosen the weak, that which appears to be nothing, to demonstrate His power. And God is doing that here in Aurangabad, in Gujarat, and other states as well. These are states on the border of Pakistan and the border of Nepal. Well, praise the Lord for you, brothers. Thank you for sharing your testimony.
Thank you, Pastor.
And we just rejoice in what God is doing here in Northwest India.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us.